Welcome to Scott's Rad Travel Talks. I'm your host, Scott Radisi. Today, I am thrilled to be joined by my friend, Jackie Williams, luxury travel advisor and owner of NuVibe Travel Experiences. Jackie, how are you?
I'm doing great, Scott. Thanks for having me today.
Oh, I love the fact that you look like you're on a beach. I'm getting a little bit jealous as I'm sitting in my office. Tell me where you are.
Don't be jelly. I am on a beach. I'm on a beach. I am in Jamaica, Ocho Rios, Jamaica, to be exact, at the resort's Couples Tower Isle.
Awesome. Awesome. And
Yes.
before we do get into that, I had to talk about that beautiful setting, but tell me about yourself. Tell me about your agency a little bit too.
Thank you. So this year made 6 consecutive years of me managing and owning NuVibe Travel Experiences. As you mentioned, we are a luxury agency, and what that means is that we specialize in experiences, mostly boutique and higher end properties. Nice. So definitely, if you're a person who loves comfort, adventure, and wellness, we are the agency for you.
You happen to be in Jamaica, but what you just described, you sell the world, right? You sell all kinds of destinations, right?
Yes, I really do. Europe, Africa, East Africa is what I love, South as well as the South Pacific and Asia.
Oh, very nice. Okay, that's awesome. Now, you've been visiting various resorts in Jamaica as well, right? You want to tell me about what you've been doing this week while you're down there?
Yes, so tomorrow will be 8 days since I've been in Jamaica, actually.
Okay.
So the first half of our trip was in Negril, and we stayed at Couples Negril. So I guess you can say this is our couples experience.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yes, it really is. So we stayed at Couples Negril. We also had an opportunity to stay at Couples Swept Away, which is also in Negril. And now we switched over yesterday to Ocho Rios, staying at Couples Tower Isle. Also had a chance to tour Couples Stand Sushi, as well as, but I saw 2 other properties in Negril. I saw Rock House and Skylark.
Wow.
So those are 2 boutique, yeah, there are 2 boutique. So Rock House, so this is something good to know. So Rock House made number 3 on Travel and Leisure's Best Caribbean Hotel.
Wow.
The resort that I'm at here, Couples Tower Isle, actually was number 17. And so Rock House is on the cliffs. It's definitely your cliffside escape. Skylark is their sister property, and that's on the beach side. And I almost forgot. I got to see Idlewild, the villa side of that, as well as their beach bungalows as well. Wow. So it's been a very active trip. Yeah. You know, I just had to come out here and experience the protocols and the new norm for myself and for my clients.
And that's really what it's all about. Here we are, you and I are chatting in late July, and we are in the midst of this global pandemic. And I think it's great that you've gone down there for 8 days, mind you, just to experience it, really get your feet in the sand, quite literally right now, just to understand what is going on. So I wanted to ask you, what is different about this time to Jamaica, as much as you've traveled to Jamaica over the years?
Yes, I typically get here at least a minimum of 2 times a year. So, and that's either from on Mobay or Kingston side. So I actually travel the entire island of Jamaica quite often.
Okay.
However, this time we did fly into Montego Bay, and the most obvious thing coming in would be the airport protocols.
Okay.
So the process is this, and I will say we did fly in Delta first class. The reason for first class, several other than comfort, was for peace of mind for ourselves. Just the even though Delta currently, as of this recording, is still blocking out the middle seats and operating at 60% capacity, we also wanted to just see how first class would be. So I guess you could say we definitely had a seat by ourselves. He had one, I had my own, so we had our own distance of each other. But what they ask of you as passengers, you have to wear your mask.
Okay.
We actually had package in first class, package cookies, the Cheez-Its and water came in a Ziploc bag so that they did not have to do a lot of interaction. But they did have beer and wine service. I wasn't expecting that. So that was something offered in first class.
Nice.
Also, when you're exiting the plane, they do ask for each person to wait 6 feet to the person in front of you, get their luggage and to get off. And one thing that Delta did not do in the past, but they did this time, was they had everybody, I guess, load the plane with the exit seats coming from the back forward. So
started in the back,
yeah,
forward.
yes, that is what they exactly.
Good.
Yeah, so I thought that was really cool. So it kind of allowed people to not have to go around others, etc. However, so that was a whole airplane experience. As far as arriving in Montego Bay, we do get Club Mobay, the arrival and departure service every time. And the reason why is...
Yes, please tell me about Club Mobay.
Yeah.
I hate to interrupt you, but I love Club Mobay.
No, yes, I do too. First of all, concierge service. I mean, there's nothing better than having your name upon arrival with one of their staff attendants who is so personable, and the customer service is great. One of the differences with Club Mobay this time around, usually you get to fast track in front of everyone. However, one of the things that the airport is doing, they're keeping everyone on the arriving flights together.
Okay.
So Jamaica is very, very, very thorough when it comes to their contact tracing. So they definitely did not want to mix different airlines together. So we did have 2 airlines in front of us. So the first thing you do after, and whether you had Club Mobay or not, the first thing, we had our temperature check, and we were given that on a piece of paper for us to remember, as well as hand sanitizing. And they have you wait until there's not any congestion in front of you, because the first meeting point is the health screening. So what Jamaica is requiring at this time is 72 hours, really it's now 5 days prior to arrival. You will do a pre-authorization online form, and there's 4 questions, but the primary 2 is, have you tested for COVID? Have you been around anyone with COVID? It's just those typical questions. Now, if you're from Florida, Texas, Arizona, or New York, you are required to get pre-tested with COVID, the PCR with the nasal swab. And that must be uploaded with your online authorization. Okay. Now, from Georgia, we're just responsible travelers. And that's something else that's important to my agency. But we went ahead and got tested just to be certain and confident, because we would not want to be asymptomatic traveling with others and not know. So we were negative, because we're here. But we weren't required to upload our negative test results as the other 4 states are. So that's something to be very mindful of, especially since some tests take a while, but you can only have it be 10 days old. So that's something important to know.
Weeks in advance and use it. You have to have that very current.
Right, very current, within 10 days of travel. So you definitely want, if you're preparing to come to Jamaica, you definitely want to pre-schedule any virtual visits and screenings that your health provider may have. And hopefully you're at a lab that will return your test within 3 to 5 days. So that's something very important. So after the first screening, we disinfect our hands again. You just kind of validate the questions verbally. They find out where you're staying, because if you're going to stay in a villa or residence, family, like I have family here, then there was an extra level of screening that they would have required us to download. It's called the Jam 19 COVID app. And that actually has monitoring. That's the tracking. You will check in, and they actually will beep you every, like, I don't know if it's every 4 hours, but 4 times a day, you will have to do a video check-in.
Is that
Actually,
right? Wow.
yes.
Okay.
Hey, you're out of the corridor. So the corridor of travel is from Negril all the way over to Portland.
Okay.
So yeah, they give you a wide range, but yeah, if you start moving too far, bing, 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 and you
They're
have to
gonna
do
know
a
it.
video check-in. Yeah, they will know that. So that
Interesting.
makes you feel pretty safe. It depends on how you feel about that type of security. But I think for me, knowing how dangerous COVID is, at least that's my belief, it did give me a certain level of security being here in Jamaica. But after that, collecting your luggage and going through customs, and that was pretty normal. It literally was 45 minutes, even with 2 flights ahead of us.
Okay, I was going to ask that about how long it took with these added steps, but that's not too bad. And Jamaica
No.
is pretty busy, and you had 2 flights right ahead of you.
Yeah, and that was with Club Mobay as well. So we're very happy. We did use a new service coming as far as our transfer. So Couples Resorts, as well as a few others, offers complimentary shared transfers.
Okay.
However, Jamaica has a brand new ride sharing app, and it's actually, and it's not, it operates the same, very similar to Uber and Lyft. However, the drivers are certified Jamaica Tourist Board drivers. So it's safe and reliable. It's not just a regular taxi man off the street. So it's Arrive, ARYVVE.
ARYVVE.
VVE, yes. And I'll give you the link so you can post in your notes as well. However, it's an app, and we use that service as our private transfer over to Negril. And the same pricing actually as you're going to purchase on like an online site like Viator. So
yeah. So it's a little added confidence, a little added security for you to travel. It's a private transfer direct to the resort, right?
Yes,
nice.
Direct.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, very direct.
Yeah.
So
that's great. So
I mean, it's a lot that's happened. So
you covered some ground. You mentioned you flew into Montego Bay. You went to Negril. Now you're in Ocho Rios. You've seen a lot of that beautiful country.
I have seen a lot of the beautiful country and the countryside. So a lot of goats on the road this time of the year. I like the nature part of Jamaica. And we actually had some very gorgeous sunsets in Negril that we had to enjoy. So I'm happy about that.
Maybe you could share a couple of those with me, and I'll post them either here in the notes so people we can tease them.
Oh, most definitely, I'll do that. I have some on my Instagram page. I can do that.
You know, Jamaica is one of my favorite places to travel as well, and I think it is just the people, the culture, that vibe, right? And tourism is such a big driver for them, and their hospitality they're so gracious and they're so welcoming and everything. I think part of the way, and one of the best ways to get to know that culture, is being able to leave the resorts and do a local excursion, check out those local experiences. And I'll ask you, what has been your experience with being able to do that? Now, of course, as you mentioned, we're not talking, we're at the time of this recording, we're in the midst of it. We can't talk about what's going to happen in the fall. We don't know.
Right.
What have you seen as far as guests at resorts being able to, not only, of course, they interact with the people at the resorts, the wonderful staff members, but outside of the resorts, what have you seen, and what have you been able to do?
That's a very good question, because not every resort is allowing guests to leave property, actually. So when we arrived at Couples Negril, where we stayed first, we weren't sure that we could leave to go to those other 2 properties that I mentioned to you. However, Couples are one of the brands that are allowing guests to leave property. It's very slow still. It's still slow. Dunn's River Fall isn't open. Yaman over here in Ocho Rios is not open. However, the catamarans are. The catamarans and the snorkeling are still operational. When we were over in Negril, one of the great things is Chuka, their tour operator. They did have some tours operating. Even when we were passing by the estate, we saw the ATVs in operation, horseback riding as well. So that was really good to still see that. I guess one of the major companies are starting to open back up and bring some excursions. If you were to go with island routes, I am not as current, but the last thing I knew was that they were definitely operating their catamaran and thinking about opening up their Mini Cooper routes very soon.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. And these things are changing every day, right?
Man, it is changing every day. Even the resorts, they have a reduced staff. So one of the things to understand, which I love, was that the capacity, and this admits, it's kind of catch-22. The capacity has been about 30%.
Okay.
So coming from the United States, where actually, Scott, not sure if you knew this is the first time my husband and I have left the house since March.
Is that right? Yeah. That's
we just
a lot of people that are listening to this are in the same boat as you are. Yeah.
Yeah, we dive like all the way in the deep end. We went from not going anywhere. I mean, he did a little grocery shopping. I never left the house really, to coming to Jamaica. So the 30% occupancy is comfortable.
Yeah.
It's very comfortable. So they do have protocols. Wear your mask, and when you enter the restaurant, if you know you cannot distance yourself 6 feet, they are recommending that we wear a mask. However, depending on how you look at it, guests are allowed not to wear their masks. However, they do their best to really keep the distancing in the dining area. On the beach, they are still separated. And from the pictures that you'll see that I'll send you, there haven't been anyone really crowding around each other very much. So it's still been very comfortable.
That's good. I wanted to ask about that. So thanks for sharing that. With 30%, they can spread the tables out a little bit. They can spread the chairs away from each other at the pool, things like that. And masks are recommended. It's just a great thing to do, and good for you to support that, and good for you to get out of the house once after 4 or 5 months and getting down to Jamaica yourself.
I know I needed some vitamin D. I don't know how long the supplements were going to hold up.
I know. I hear you. Now, in the few moments we've got left, tell me, and you've explained it greatly, I just think there's such a difference, right, between going online and seeing there's information all over the place online. And I'm a traveler. I can go online. I can make it happen for myself. But so many things that you've experienced this week and have shared with us here about the new transfer company. You may not be able to just find that if you're not a professional travel advisor, seeing these different resorts, doing these different things. So other than what you've already explained, why do you think it's so important to book a vacation with a travel advisor rather than booking your own online?
Great question. So back in the day, the way I would have answered that in the past is, if you're someone, and this is still true, but it primarily would have been focused around service and expertise. You know, definitely from a service perspective. However, travel advisors have almost become COVID experts, at least from the protocol perspective. I mean, we're constantly being updated by the resorts, the tourism boards, the tour operators, that includes your excursions, etc., on what their safety protocols are, what changes are happening, what requirements are necessary to enter a country, the airport, the airlines. So at this particular point in time, we are definitely your trusted advisor and advocate. And as far as me and my company, you become like family. I become mama bear real fast.
It's great though.
No, you have to, because it's scary times. The people aren't really certain what's to be, and especially when if you may not be a frequent traveler. But I'll tell you this, Scott, my frequent travelers are kind of not really traveling at this moment. So it doesn't matter how experienced you think you are. when there's a perceived risk and a potential real risk for your life, you definitely want to trust a professional who does this technically 24 hours a day. Yeah, this isn't a part-time gig of, oh, okay, I think I care to know what's going on. Like, this is what we're constantly engaged with. So definitely, if you have not used the travel advisor in the past, definitely consider it.
Yeah.
We're all different, and our niche and our specialties and expertise are unique at best. So you can definitely reach out to me if you have liked my personality so far.
There you go, exactly.
Or definitely find someone you trust.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you want to find someone who you can be comfortable with and who's definitely experienced, who's, even if they're not out here traveling themselves, if they're a professional, they're engaged and they know someone like myself and someone like Scott, right, who has resources to give them the information that they need.
Absolutely. You're there. You're meeting the managers of these resorts. You're meeting the sales manager. You're traveling with one of the business development managers, a wonderful person as well, with couples. You're getting to know them. So if something comes up, like a global pandemic, maybe,
yes,
you need to make a phone call. If the customer who booked that trip online may not even be able to find a phone number, right? Where you absolutely, I know you work 24/7, Jackie. You're out there, you're getting that thing, you're getting it done. You're getting it done for your customer before, during, and after travel. Absolutely.
Most definitely. And you're right about that phone number. Yeah. You may be on hold for hours, or the worst, you're on hold for hours and then then it disconnects.
Lose it. Exactly.
And then the worst thing, you just say, forget it. And then you travel anywhere and you're not prepared, right? You know? Yeah. So definitely call a trusted travel advisor and that's what we're here for. We're here to take care of you, and just know that we're out here and we're wanting to serve you.
Yes, exactly. And this is your business. Like you said, this isn't some part-time thing that you're doing in the
summer. Oh no,
take care
this
of it
is my baby. Yeah.
Well, thank you. You've shared so much great information. Anything else that you feel as you're traveling in your final days of an 8-day trip to Jamaica that the traveling public needs to know? Really,
travel when you're comfortable. Travel when you're ready, but know that travel is waiting for you. Nice. Jamaica, Mexico, and other islands in the Caribbean, South Pacific who are opening up, we're waiting for you. They're waiting for you. As Scott mentioned earlier, a lot of these Caribbean smaller islands, especially Jamaica, this is their livelihood. And I'm not saying you have to care about all of that. However, they're here to serve you, and the customer service is grade A. So if you are comfortable with traveling where there aren't any spikes, you know, you may have onesie, twosie here and there, but the spikes is not preventing people from enjoying themselves and relaxing. I will tell you this, after being here for about 3 hours, I forgot what day it was. And I'm sure if I had a blood pressure monitor, my pressure would have decreased like by tons. So a lot of people have been saying that they just feel completely relaxed. And with the things going on in America right now, wherever you're at, I'm sure a little relaxation and some of this breeze.
Look at this. Look at this.
That's their private island over there. Will be greatly appreciated right now. So
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely consider getting a tan.
And there's that little side effect too, right? Standing out there, sitting out there on that beach. Jackie, this was such an informative chat, and I really appreciate you joining me today. Thank you. I know you've only got a little bit of time left there, so go enjoy your dinner this evening. Try to enjoy that beach one last time for me.
Oh, my bathing suit is already on under. I'm already prepared.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining Scott's Rad Travel Talks. And you'll have Jackie's contact information right here at the end of this video. Reach out to her. She's got so much more information that we couldn't even get to, but reach out to her and ask her and book your next vacation with Jackie with NuVibe Travel Experiences. Jackie, thank you so much. Safe travels to you, my friend.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Thanks.